Hello, Shine members. How are you guys doing? How are you doing on our 30-day Eat Like You Love Yourself challenge? Today we had a big topic. I'm already getting tons of emails about guilt and giving up guilt and the importance of that. And I just want to talk about how it happened for me. I was walking this morning and I was kind of so lucky because so many things happened in my life at the same time. That's why I really feel like I was guided. I was put here to do this work and help other women do the same thing. So as most of you know, I've been in the field of nutrition. Hi, Lisa. I've been in the field of nutrition all of my life. I was a nutrition coach. I had my own practice. I also worked at a large holistic wellness center, dental practice, coaching people on nutrition. I taught in hospitals, and as most of you who know my story know, a couple of years in, using the conventional diet method, calories in, calories out, food rules, I was not helping anybody. I was very discouraged. And so one of the things that happened around this time is some of my clients, I had this one client who I loved, and she was trying so hard. We were working so hard together. And she came in and saw me one Monday and said, that she was almost afraid to come in and talk to me. She's like, I was afraid to tell you. I've been doing really good, and I had an epic fail this weekend. This weekend was horrible. I've been, just really devastated about it. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? She said, it was my grandson's birthday, and I had cake and ice cream. And I was like, something is seriously wrong here. Something is serious. And I had other clients who, were really struggling with overeating, and we couldn't really get them any place. A lot of nutrition teaches you, like, just say no. It's kind of like the Just Say No drug campaign. It's ridiculous. Just don't do it anymore, or just try these foods or try those foods. And I was working so hard with so many clients, but nothing was really sticking for anybody. I really knew that just teaching about nutrition alone was not the answer. It was not working. Like, I had to become not just a nutritionist, but a therapist and a spiritual coach. Because this is a threefold dilemma. If you've got food issues, because when I talk about spiritually, you don't know your value. You don't know who you are. You don't know how unique and beloved and brilliant you are. That's one big piece. That's the spiritual piece. And then there's an emotional piece to why we overeat. But funny enough, once we know who we are spiritually, the emotional pieces and the food pieces balance themselves out. But it is something that needs to be worked on from all three angles. So a lot of clients were really teaching me and showing me what wasn't working and showing me where I had to step up. And my mom, my gorgeous, incredible mother, I literally had one of the most amazing mothers in this world. And she was a total nutrition buff. She was the healthiest person I've ever met. She was an RN. She worked for a holistic practice. She ate as well as anybody I've ever seen. No bad habits. Went to bed early. Took really good care of herself. But there was, she was my spiritual mentor. But the guilt piece, the food guilt piece, she never really got through. She never really got over that. I used to always joke that my mother was going to live longer than my kids. She was just, so stringent with her health rules. But, most of you know my mom passed away at a young age of 68 from her third bout of cancer. And even on hospice, when the body starts to shut down, digestion really starts to shut down. You don't really want to eat. The only thing my mom could actually eat was really highly processed stuff, which was so against her grain. The only thing she could eat was hot dog rolls. And I saw, like a week before she died, I saw the guilt and the fear in her eyes from eating the hot dog roll. On the other hand, I have a mother-in-law at the time who was in her late 80s. She ended up living to be 94. And I would go to her house, and I was all up in my food rules and my food fears, and she would have conventional chicken thighs cooking in a can of Campbell's tomato soup. and there'd be cremora with the coffee. I'm like, isn't there any like real food around here? I was such a bougie food snob. And anyway, she lived to be 94. No food fears, no rules whatsoever. You know, and I started to study people who lived to be old. I mean, this was bothering me. I could really see that this food rules and the guilt and all that, it was totally not the answer. You know, I'm not saying my mom's guilt killed her. I'm not saying it didn't. All I'm saying is, I don't know, but there's a bigger picture happening. I don't know if I'm going to live another day. I don't know if I'm going to live to be 68 or 94 or somewhere in between, but I do not want to carry the weight of guilt around with me, because I saw with my own eyes that it is not the answer. It does not help you to stay healthy. It does not help you to stay on track. It's just, I think guilt is gotta be the worst feeling in the world. I would consider it like hell on earth. So all these things that happened at the same time, my neighbor's gonna start mowing his lawn or something here, but all these things started happening at the same time, and I knew, like I said, and I also started to study people who lived to be old, and none of them were attributing their longevity to perfect diet, and none of them showed any signs of food fear or guilt or anything. You know, you guys hear me talk about it. When I did the study, the oldest living man in the world was 126, and he smoked a pack of cigarettes a day since he was 13. Hopefully you can still hear me. Some of the other people said that they equated their longevity to eating ice cream every day, or 3 Miller High Lights a day, or staying away from men. They all had these different ideas. But you know, this stringent food fear, food rules, and all the guilt and the fear and the shame that comes with it has got to go. I saw it with my own eyes, and like I said, I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I decided right then and there I was not teaching it. I was not going to have somebody come to me and tell me that they failed because they had cake and ice cream at a birthday party anymore. I was not going to be a fear pusher in the name disguised as being health conscious, because it is not the case. You know, they have a name now for people with extreme food fears. It's called orthorexia. And they wanted to give it a name because they wanted people to really know that it's doing more harm than good. You are not helping yourself when you have all these stringent food fears and food rules, and that cause you such fear and guilt when you don't adhere to them perfectly, because really nobody can. And it isn't the answer to health. Fear and guilt certainly is not. So I don't know, I was kind of gifted with all of this insight kind of at the same time, which led my practice into a completely different direction, which is why Food Rules, Diets, and Love was created, which is why I do what I do, and I'm going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to shout this truth across the world with Amy and many others. Because we need to get over this. We need to get over this guilt. It's not serving us. It's not gonna help you. There's no good reason for it. And you know, I gave it up. I don't think I've ever put one thing in my mouth since that day and allowed myself the needless suffering of guilt. You can just be done with it. It does not serve you. It is a friend that's going to keep showing up, that's going to keep knocking on the door till you stop answering. So anyway, thanks guys for listening. I'm so grateful for all that got me here, and hopefully, you know, you can sort of learn from others, and just see in your own life how it's just weighing you down. It's just weighing you down. It is holding weight on. It is heavy. So that's it for today. If you haven't watched your day 7 video on guilt, that's in the bank, and tomorrow will be day 8, and we're going to talk more about how all of these organs are filters, how this body of yours is designed to filter out impurities. We don't have to be perfect all the time. And you know, the happier we are, the more well-adjusted we are, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, the better all these systems are going to run. So we talk about that next, I believe. So I'll see you there, and I love you guys. I'm so proud to be in this community with you, and thanks for listening. Bye.